Okay.
Ready.
And we're back. Hey everyone, and welcome back to Episode Club. It's not Wednesday, it's Sunday, but we're here to talk about Harlots, Season 3, Episodes 7 and 8. The tentative, I guess, series finale-ish episodes. Apparently it's been renewed for a new season. Apparently not. There's rumors going around. But anyway, we're here to talk about these episodes. So, and everybody's back. I know the question of Fanny's appearance was questioned, but we'll get to we'll get back to that in a minute. But whoever wants to introduce yourselves, go ahead.
I'm trying to get into the chat here, but hey guys, nice to see you all. Happy Sunday. Hopefully we're all pleasant and having a good time. But anyways, nice to see you.
Ladies first. I know I'm
Okay.
Fanny, so you gotta wait.
Hi, everybody. Happy Sunday. Thanks for coming by.
It's Sunday. What's up? I'm Fanny Be Crazy. I'm the fanniest Fanny of them all. And apparently, Fanny means cunny over across the seas, from what I hear. I guess that's okay. I guess my nickname can be Cunny Be Crazy or whatever. Anyways, House of the Conqueror. No, thanks for having me on. It's going to be fun to talk about this. A really great and underrated show. And I'm kind of sad it's over. So at least I came out on top. So in all aspects too.
But is it
I
over?
don't know.
Yes.
Well, maybe it isn't.
You did win out in the end. I think everybody kind of at the end of this they won something. Like they all were like fine in the end, which is kind of interesting. But before we get too far into this, what did you guys think about how this show wraps up in these two episodes? Like with the whole throughout the story, but also throughout the season so far, or the last part of the season.
It happened really fast because, I mean, so much happened in season 3 that it does kind of make you wonder if that was it. Like, because they didn't really leave a lot open-ended. They'd have to introduce kind of a new villain at this point. So what I was thinking while I was watching it is, unless they were going to do at least 2 more seasons, they're probably done with it. But yeah, after Margaret left, everything just kind of like happened really fast within those last, 3-ish episodes. And it's, I don't know. It was just fast, but it was a lot. There was a lot of action going on.
Yeah.
I want to say really quick, Lucy Wells did a whole lot of nothing and came out on top. We'll get into that in a little bit.
That's her dream life, though.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Do you think they could bring Hal back as a villain?
They could. I mean, he would.
I mean, kind of a long shot, but
that'd probably be the most reasonable one.
Yeah.
Huh. Yeah, he'd come back with the whole Navy, right? I loved how he was crying in the street, too. He's a real man.
Mm-hmm.
A real man. I do think, man, he's a huge hypocrite. He's got to be a sociopath.
He's so manipulative.
Like, so driven to just do what the fuck ever.
Yeah.
And, did he really mean to? He kind of says he does. I mean, I like the part, I don't know which episode this is in, where he at least owns up to it and shows some type of remorse, but then the remorse turns to rage and hatred and anger and schemes and plots and wow, selling people to the slave trade. I mean, I don't know if it gets any lower than this guy. So I hope they peg him and throw him off the ship.
In the Navy.
Yeah, he was just really
That was good.
manipulative and just always trying to place blame on everyone else.
Yeah.
So
Which
he needs his ass kicked.
And the whole like shitstorm kind of started because of his actions that he even to the end wouldn't even really fess up to. Even when Nancy was standing there with a gun in his face, he still wasn't really like accountable for his actions for killing Charlotte. He was still just angry about Isaac, even though he knows that she's the one that killed Isaac. He knows why she would do it and vice versa, but he still is not like honest with himself about it. He's just like, no, it was an accident or something, which it kind of was. But like after you like are running for that long and there's just so much like firestorm following behind you, I don't know, you would think you'd be a little more honest with yourself and with like the woman who knows you did it. Just saying.
Well, and also, I mean, when he killed Charlotte, I mean, it was pretty well an accident. Like, he did shove her out of the way when she tried to get in between him and Isaac, but he didn't know she was, like, he didn't try to shove her over the banister. He just wanted her out of the way so he could punch his brother in the face.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he had no idea the railing was 1 foot to his right because he's been shown to have great self-awareness. We need John Madden to kind of break down this video play. The boom right here is where he decides to do the spin move and throw her off the balcony. I don't know. I don't know. It's so horrible. Charlotte's death is so horrible. I don't feel for Pincher Nuts. You know, Pincher Nut deserved to be shot, and I really had no remorse for him. He got everything he ever desired, and he shat on it, just like
Not
his
gonna
friend.
lie, I was rooting for Nancy to shoot him.
Well, yeah, absolutely. But the only reason not to is kind of like Mr. North came in. He's like, "Don't." What did he say?
Don't throw your life away.
Yeah,
or something like that.
Yeah, and it was like she didn't need to do that. She's not handling killing Isaac, well enough, and she didn't need to add anyone else to that. She's not a killer at heart, and she's got kind of, even though she's got that tough exterior, she's got like a gentle soul, But so she didn't need any more on there.
No, that's true, but until Emily and Mr. North and everybody else came in, it was very much if she didn't go to him and try to kill him, he was going to come after her at some point.
Yeah.
So.
It was good and ballsy move. They're like, where'd Nancy go? And she's like, oh, I'm just going down to the tavern to freaking have a showdown with this motherfucker.
Nancy's got more balls than anybody.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she's not afraid to like be like, what? And she like wants to whack you in more ways than one, I guess.
I think only the one. I don't think she wants to whack anyone the other way.
Or like shoot you down. But yeah, I think with these 2 episodes, it really focused on a lot of the whole Prince storyline that we have going on, which in episode 7 at least, like that was a big focal point, and the Marquess of Blaine and trying to figure out how does Lydia move her chess pieces on the board again. But of course, you got the what was it? I forgot it down. You have how you see if I can remember her name, Kate, and how Kate is kind of in love and wants to be with the Scottish, what is it? The Justice? I guess he's now the Justice. Yeah. But Lydia's like, she's not here. And then she gets like all pissed off and angry and stuff. And it's like, wouldn't you rather have somebody who's like on your side, not be like flaunting it off with the prince? It's like, especially when it comes to the end of like kind of the final moments of this show, especially with those kinds of characters. To me, the Kate storyline with Quigley was good. It was executed fairly well, but there was moments where it kind of fell flat. like the moments where she was alone with the prince, and also when the Marquess was watching them like have sex. Like I was like, what is going on? It's like you have nothing better to do for 5
Classic
minutes.
cuckold action, but even creepier.
He was such a creep. That was such a creepy scene. Like poor Kate too. She's just like covers up, but the prince just keeps going. Their sex scenes are like so weird. They are such like weird like teenage humpers. It's so gross.
Right? He really did need someone like Kate to kind of show him what to do because, God.
Yeah, like
he's clearly packing, and I gotta give her the G move of the season by milking that prostate to finish the job. She was tired of being there.
Miss Bottomley. But
Yeah.
Pro
Gotta
move.
do.
That is a pro veteran move right there from a rookie.
Hey, she's got to thank Cherry for that one.
Yep.
Good old Cherry.
Yeah.
Cherry should train all the royal mistresses.
Cherry is the real hero of this story. Let's be clear. She like if there's anyone who's the hero, it is that little Cherry.
I love her.
She's the best pimp now.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's fantastic. She's so smooth. She's smooth as butter.
She
made a good point. Like Nancy's good for keeping, people away if you don't want them, but Nancy's scary.
It's true.
Nancy's not going to attract people either.
No.
Carrying around all of her birch sticks.
Mm-hmm.
Cherry, she's just like even when Quigley wants to get Charles back, and she's like, I'm not standing around for Charles. You got to pay me up now. And then it's like, I get to keep my dress. And then whatever. It's just like she's just done with like Quigley, and it's funny. And
you think Charles is a Molly boy in another town?
I mean, probably.
Well,
that could be something they could have if there was a season 4. The return of Charles.
Oh my God!
And he is a
would
punk
take
to the
him back?
extreme.
It would be a good reason for him to come back because, she ends up with Golden Square. So he'd come back to Mama and her bunny, probably.
Do you think she'd want him back?
In the regard of she'd be able to, like, have him under her thumb because he really fucked her over and left her in bedlam. I mean, if she didn't figure out a way to get out herself, he would have left her there and just left London, and she would have been in there forever. Like, nobody would have come to save her. So that's pretty messed up. So if he did come back, he'd probably be like really kissing her ass, and then she could, get him under her thumb, and then he'd be her little sugar piggy again.
Well, what if I would say that Lydia Quigley has shown that she maybe feels she deserved that punishment and has turned over a new leaf and would look past that in her love, since she's kind of gained everything else she wants. Her son coming back to her, maybe a comfort. I don't think she would sugar piggy his ass, but I do think she would give him a legitimate chance, and I do think Charles will be ready to actually work at this point, having seen so many hard times and been with the real folk. He might relish the opportunity, but that may be me just being a little bit half glass full on.
Well, especially if she had someone like Lucy that could kind of help her get him to get his ass in gear.
Mm-hmm.
Like, because before she was just hoping that he was watching and learning, because she didn't have time to really do too much instructing on this is how you run this shit. This is how you make money and not, waste it all and end up in debtor's jail. So if she and Lucy were to stick together in this kind of weird partnership they have going on, he might have a chance.
I think they will too, because I don't think Lucy's given that up for anything.
No?
Well, also too that they're still in a sense bound together by the fact that they, spoiler alert, but if you're watching this and that they both killed the Marquess of Blaine together, so neither one of them can effectively run away, because even though they said that they killed him in self-defense, lies, I guess, at the same time. It's like, well, you know the truth and I know the truth, so, and I know that you know if, like, they're entangled in a web together, and it's
Season 4, Lydia and Lucy go on a killing spree. They kind of enjoy killing a little too much. They pick out people they think deserve it. I mean,
well, the way they were laughing
laugh
after they finally got him down.
I mean, yeah. And we'll get to it, but I think that they either recast or George Howard's wife from season 1 married the guy that is Lord Liddington, I believe. Because it's the same actress, I believe. Or they look very similar.
You mean Lord Ledsome?
Yeah, the one that was like the guy
the
that
slave
was
guy?
Yeah, taking all of those people to be their slaves. I feel like that's the same woman.
That was all jealous about Harriet and stuff.
I don't think so.
I can check.
I think they're different.
I feel like it. I feel like it is, or they're very similar actors, if not.
That's the problem with everyone wearing the same dress and the same wig style and the same thick ass makeup. Like,
I like the way that she looks, though, Lord Ledsome's wife, because she has that like gray wig and it's very just striking. Yeah. She kind of reminds me of like Barbary Dustin or something like that. That's like what I picture Barbary looking like. Oh, dang it.
And her face makeup isn't as heavy. She has a little bit more natural look.
Mm-hmm. She's pretty.
Yeah, I don't know. She just looks similar to the other.
That's
actor.
fair.
Let me see.
I don't know. I could be wrong, but
we can at least give these ladies credit where it's due.
Well, it's a different actor, I guess, because she's titled under Lady Ledsome. But I'll go back and look at the one who played his. Because that would have been interesting if she's just like, oh, no, I marry another crazy psycho.
Yeah. I don't think it would have been the
question.
same person in the show. I think the actors might have been the same, but the character names would have had to be different because Lord Ledsome's wife, it sounded like they'd been married for a while.
Mm-hmm.
From like when she was talking to Isabella about Harriet and thanking Harriet for keeping her husband away from her. But she's been with him enough to like be able to.
Lady Ledsome is named Anna Wilson Jones. And then the Lady Carolyn Howard her name is Eleanor Yates. That's a good name.
Either way, they're very similar actors. Like they sounded similar, and I was like, wait, what is this? It's like they played games.
Well, and their attitudes about their husbands were similar too. Like they didn't really like their husbands. They were kind of glad their husband was out of their business.
Yeah, it's a cool, like, that's something that Harlots is good at portraying. Like these upper class guys are really just pieces of shit that just sort of it's commonplace for them to objectify women and treat them just like pieces of meat. I mean, and that's what they effectively are. I mean, they sell their bodies. So
they had like they kind of bring that up a little bit within like the characters that are within like the courts, within what's his name, the justice, and the one that wants Lucy to speak against what's his face? I can't remember. The name is just escaping my head. They even talk about like how the harlots and the Molly houses and all of that stuff like that's like a job where it's like where they're like, I don't want to know your business like about that, like where you deal with that, but also
Justice Knox, the Scottish guy.
Yeah,
and Mr. Cross.
Yeah, they're like, don't care.
Yeah,
don't care. There's bigger shit going on. I could not care less about this. This is stupid.
Mm-hmm. He's a cool guy, and then because he's basically kind of forced into. They don't really elaborate on how Mr. Croft and Justice Knox kind of know each other, but he's like, well, I got you this job. And he's like, well, I work for the law, not for the parliament or something like that. But obviously they kind of know each other somehow, but he's like, well, this is the law. You need to handle it. And it's mostly just because he's afraid of them exposing his secret. But Justice Knox is obviously like an open-minded kind of guy. He didn't want to be spending his time, arresting gay men for living their lives or whatever, doing their thing. When it's the same thing that all these other guys are doing to women, and worse, because he's trying to pursue Lord Leadsom right at that exact moment. He's trying to find somebody who's not only objectifying women, but also taking them into slavery if they don't cooperate for him. So it's just a weird situation.
Well, he's a man who's used to getting what he wants. Quack, quack, quack. Howard the Duck's real father. No, that's just the nature of the beast, unfortunately. And you get to see everyone fight back. And we have bits and pieces of victories, full victories for some people, consolation prizes for others. And I don't know, the show's fantastic. As y'all said, the writing's perfecto. And when's that guy gonna die? Did he die? No, he didn't die.
Which
He's
one?
still alive.
Lord Leadsom.
Leadsom?
Yeah, he hasn't died.
Oh, no, I don't think he died. I couldn't. Well, okay, so what do you guys think was going on? Because didn't we see kind of an overview of Harriet and Jack, once they escaped, standing there? Wasn't that with Lord Leadsom, or was that with Mr. Croft?
That was with Mr. Croft, but they kind of left it
ambiguous.
Yeah, they didn't really give us a very satisfying ending to that, unfortunately. Now, maybe that could be something for them to come back if they decide to do a season 4, because he could be a good villain. He's, he's people to put him into slavery, and that's pretty messed up. But that's all we kind of saw at the end was Jack and Harriet talking to Mr. Croft about what had happened. And
I wonder if maybe they were talking to him because if he was somehow able to get Justice Knox his job, maybe he's involved with the law, and so he was going to try and pursue Lord Leadsom?
Probably.
With their testimony?
It's just kind of makes you wonder, in all reality, would he even be, prosecuted for that? Probably not, unfortunately.
No, because racism.
Yeah, and he's a wealthy and healthy, highborn kind of guy. He's not. He'd probably get off the hook for that. And if not, he could just hop on a boat. He owns land in wherever in West Indies and in America and wherever. He's got land all over the place. So honestly, they probably wouldn't waste their time, unfortunately. But again, that could be something for a season 4 villain.
He's just a wild and crazy guy. He wasn't paying attention when he signed the paperwork. He thought it was a job placement program, and how's he supposed to know? That piece of shit.
Well,
okay. With that whole, because we're kind of talking about it, with that whole storyline over these 2 episodes, you see how, again, they bring up the issue of racial discrimination with these characters. They focus it really with Harriet and Mr. North, and Mr. North wanting to balance both sides of the coin with taking care of his family, but then his also other family, if you want to call it that, the people who are like him, and all of that. So and also he takes care of Elizabeth Harvey, now known as Emma Harrison or something at the end, because she changes her name again.
Or was that her real name?
I don't know.
I think that was her real name. I think that was supposed to be like the thing because she's always had so many names, and Mr. North was trying to find out.
Hell yeah, they're getting married next season. And then she's gonna destroy him.
He wouldn't marry her. He knows how shit she is with money.
Yeah, hopefully he's smarter than that. But he doesn't really have any money either, so maybe she's like, she'd be okay with that. But she could just wrangle him in to pay off her debtors stuff, and then he probably will because he's like tied to Lucy, and so he's.
I like to think he's just there to kind of mend fences.
Yeah.
And then call it a day.
Well, Mr. North's got to get something here. Come on. This guy.
He can find better than her, though.
Yeah. I think.
And she'll likely be in debtor's jail for a while.
Yes.
Especially, she just has, all these debts in London. We don't even know where else she has debts from chasing her around.
That's another thing that's in all reality, do you really think that's how it would go down? I don't think she'd trade her place to be there with Lucy. I mean, I think the only reason that kind of happened was because right at that moment, Fredo and the other kid were arrested by, what's his face, the justice. And that was... that just kind of was how the cookie crumbled, but it was kind of a good enough moment for them to convince her to do that, to trade Lucy. And then the boys got out anyways, so they probably would have been able to get away. But
yeah,
it all worked out for Lucy, so we're happy there.
Yeah,
right? We care about Lucy, not about Emma or Elizabeth or whatever her name is.
Right. Yeah, she can just sit in jail. We don't care about her. She's fine.
See, I kind of feel y'all on Lucy, but didn't Lucy get a little annoying this season? Hasn't she just...
She did lose her mother again and her sister.
She could have went with her mother. And I would argue that would have been fun. She could have been on a little movie called Gone with the Wind. No, that would have never happened.
She could still go to America, too. And that's the other thing. It's not like... Yeah. I mean, it's not a very safe trip, but she could still go.
She has a lot more in common with Lydia Quigley, I think, than her mom, actually.
Well, I think that was kind of what it was supposed to... That was supposed to... Yeah, Lydia... Lucy almost became like Margaret in the effect of I don't know, there's just this transformation thing of the daughters with Lydia, or the Wells girls with Lydia as sort of the mother figure. But in the end, Lucy was the most that was her daughter, the third time's the charm kind of thing. I don't know.
Yeah, because she mentions that before she kind of gives her milk of the poppy or something, makes her pass it, gives her a sedative basically in her drink, about being the right one or the chosen one for this type of thing. Both her mom and her sister weren't exactly what she kind of needed for that. And it kind of makes sense because doesn't she Lucy? She ends up talking about it with Nancy about how she's I killed a man and I don't really think about it anymore and all of this stuff. So it's she's kind of gotten both sides. She's been Lucy's been influenced by the three people in her life: Lydia Quigley, Charlotte, and her mother. And she's kind of brought all of them together and amalgamated herself into herself, but it's been influenced by those three people. And maybe it's Lucy that ends up really being Quigley's heir, because we all know how she talked about how it's going to be Charlotte and Charlotte this, and how Charlotte's going to be the thing, but now Charlotte's dead. So the heir now, I guess, goes down to Lucy, even though Lucy wants to punch Lydia Quigley sometimes. It seems like she's probably the best fit for that position. especially when it comes to the whole business side of because their conversations in these 2 episodes are very business related, and it's never really personal until basically like the last scene, which there's with the 2 of them, but there's no dialogue, which is like they're just sharing a drink together and like cheersing to this. I feel like, barring the whole Lucy being in debtor's jail situation and being blamed on that by Elizabeth Harvey, her story arc throughout all of these seasons was well done. I feel like it really did a whole journey from young naive girl who's being sheltered from the rest of the world that surrounds her to now being deeply ingrained into this world and has her eyes wide open because of it. And it's surprising but not surprising at the same time that she's ends up working with Lydia Quigley now, even though she hated her in the beginning.
Right.
Of her.
She kind of found her, her niche, which even at the beginning of season 3, when she bought into Golden Square, we could see her taking that role on, like Lydia, where she's, taking in secrets and using that to make money. And I don't think it was an intentional transition to being like Lydia, but on the same note, like, she didn't follow her mother's footsteps per se, the way that Charlotte kind of did. She always kind of did her own thing. I don't know. It's just interesting.
Maybe it's that house that is always like, give me money and I'll keep your secret kind of thing. It's like, pay me and then pay me a little bit more for your secret. It's maybe Golden Square a little bit cursed with that aspect.
That's what I do wonder, because they touched on that aspect with Lydia a couple times where like the flame kind of rose up and she sort of got these little surreal moments. Now, I don't want to like go off too hard on a tangent, but I do feel like there's a lot of symbolism throughout this season, in particular in season 3, with like the triple goddess and with just the goddess in general, with these women sort of transitioning from like maiden, mother, crone kind of thing. And like even in the end, Lydia, when they kill what's his face, Blaine, he called her a crone right at the end, like right when they're killing him. And so I just felt like Lydia especially like was going through this transition of becoming the crone, but that's not even like a bad thing, because that's just like a beacon of wisdom as a woman. You're beyond your mothering. You've gone beyond that. So anyways, I don't know. It's just interesting. And then the same for Lucy, because she started out as the maiden. Now she didn't really transition into the mother, but sort of with just the stance of like being the mother of Golden Square, I guess you might say, because like Lydia was in that role before, and she was like the mother anyways because of all of these girls like Margaret and Charlotte and now Lucy. And then even with Charles, even kind of Emily Lacey, because now Emily Lacey, she's like the top dog in her own house. So there is a lot of like, I don't know, there's just a lot of there's just a lot of triple goddess symbolism within it in season 3, I felt.
Well, and I think Lucy was kind of what Lydia was hoping that like Margaret and Charlotte would be all along, because like Lucy told her, I'm not afraid of you. And I think that's kind of what Lydia wanted, because even though like Margaret and Charlotte both fought her and they said they weren't afraid of her, they still were afraid of her. They were afraid of what she could hold over them. But Lucy's just like, nah, no, I'm not afraid of you. like, I'm an equal here, and I'm going to act like such, and you're going to treat me as such, and just, walk on by.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's kind of what Lydia wanted from these girls, was someone not just to take over for her, not just someone to train like a daughter, but for someone to actually prove that they're her equal.
Which, again, could almost tie into, like, triple goddess mythology. And even, like, a role of, like, well, Lady of the Lake or something like that. But anyway.
No, but it's right. It's true. It does tie in. It still ties in.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you have to prove that you're worthy.
Mm-hmm.
Could she ever do this if she had turned a corner? I guess almost spiritually, you could say, where she was going to go a little more route of love than hate.
Mm-hmm.
You could argue me on that one, but I felt like before she wanted someone she could control and manipulate to be exactly like her, but not greater than her.
Yeah.
She wanted to be the best.
Mm-hmm.
But with here, like you said, she does see an equal. And I think now she has the opportunity to respect that. Whereas before, when Margaret was getting close to her equal, that did not bother her. Now, that bothered the shit out of her, but that wasn't someone she wanted to replace her either, though.
Right.
I mean, but originally she wanted Charles for the most part, right? Sugar piggy. So we see what her grooming, what she wants, gets her. But I don't know. Yeah, it all just kind of landed in her lap, and I do think Persephone, Lucy kind of epitomizes that role, the innocence, and Persephone kind of, in some stories, she chose to go to the underworld every winter or whatever it was. And Lucy chooses to live in a certain hell for the pleasures, but also she is good. I say that, with this high pitch good, because, she does make some questionable decisions, but ultimately she just made a lot of mistakes that a young person makes and just happened to make the right mistakes. I'm being honest. There's a beautiful poetry to that, if I'm using that word right. Whatever. Just listen to me. Look.
Well, it's interesting too that, like, Lucy was the one that kind of spent the least amount of time with Lydia before that. Like, she was kind of the least one that was, like, raised by Lydia. So she sort of got her own independence, whereas a lot of these other girls that Lydia takes on, including Margaret, and then with Charlotte just kind of being, like, on a path of vengeance, she gets them when they're vulnerable so that they can kind of become dependent on her and see her as, like, a mother figure, which she sort of would manipulate and twist. And then, but with Lucy, she was never in that position. She's only seen her, like, objectively as, like, not a good person. So as long as she got to the point where she was strong enough to, like, combat that and be, like, brave enough to take it on, then she is pretty much the most worthy rival. There's not, maybe Fanny, but Fanny's not gonna meddle in that. So
is Fanny gonna meddle in that? Let's ask Fanny right now.
Nah. Fanny's got her own thing going on. Kind of happy where I'm at right now.
Yeah.
Keeping these cunnies in line.
Yeah. Fanny's got a good head on her shoulders. She's got Cherry to help her out. She's got good girls, it looks like. She's got baby Kitty to look after. Her plate's full. She doesn't want any problems.
She's got such a good thing going. Yeah. She's got a great thing going, too. Like, it's what she wanted, because remember in, like, season 2, where she was just so afraid that Margaret was going to kick her out, her and Kitty, and they, that, and her and other Kitty Carter, they talked about starting their own brothel where the children would be welcome and Kitty's daughter could come and live there and that kind of thing. So now that's what Fanny's running, and she's a happy lady. Well, she's especially happy when Mr. Harlots comes around.
We didn't see him this season, did we? Or these last few episodes?
Yeah, they sprinkled him in. Like,
did we see him these last two episodes though?
Yeah, he's like poor Isaac Pincher or something.
Yeah.
He's like, a night watch found Isaac Pincher's body, and it's like every time they say night watch, I always start laughing because especially in a British accent, I'm always like, you mean up there, like in Game of Thrones, like the night watch is like patrol the streets? Wouldn't that be funny instead of patrolling the wall? But yeah, he was in like the previously on thing where it's like they recap or whatever.
Oh, okay.
But they haven't really had interactions with, at least in this season, they didn't really do interactions with Fanny as much, except for like the very beginning, like when the house was on fire.
Right.
I think that's the only time. Like,
and she tells him that Kitty was inside, and he gets a little bit perturbed at that.
Yeah.
Well, you should do that.
That's my brothel baby.
Yes, Fanny, you have the best boobs.
Thank you. I appreciate that. 1 shekel to touch them. Is that even? I don't even think. Why am I saying
1 shekel? 1 whole shekel? You're breaking my balls here.
Oh, shit.
You gotta raise. What are you? I don't even know what's going on.
You'll be messing with my shekels.
Yeah, Fanny really takes charge with the girls that she now, I guess, takes care of. Because Emily Lacey tries to pawn off one of her troublemakers off of to Fanny. Mm-hmm. And it's just like, and then the girl's just like, I'm clean. I take care of myself. And then Fanny's like, well, we'll see about that. Like, it just shows that how like Fanny's really adopted that bod mentality, and I really feel like if we get a season 4, I feel like she's almost like she'll be a really good bod, and I feel like she'll have a good group of girls, and they even kind of showed that in like the last kind of sequence with them. Is like those girls. She's like, get ready.
As Cherry as her pimp, she will be unstoppable. And I will be unstoppable, and I'm pretty happy with what I'm doing here. I'm gonna move on up. I'm gonna make this into a chain business. We'll call it Fanny McDonald's.
You're gonna franchise it?
Yeah.
Cha-ching.
Fannies.
Well,
Fannies. Fannies all over America.
I gotta make sure my child eats and watches me smother dudes.
Oh yeah, because that was in the last episode.
It's the best.
She did that in the last episode.
I did. Was I here last stream? I don't remember that.
You were in
I'm
the
pretty sure I wasn't
car.
here.
Oh yeah, you were in the car. It was you and Justin having
Ribbit
disagreements in the chat.
Oh yeah, that piece of shit, Justin Thomas. Yeah, well, that guy.
He can really stay on track with you two around.
He's an alright guy, but I fucking hate him. I would uppercut him in the nutsack if he had any nuts. Justin, where are you at?
I'm gonna be perfectly honest. I saw this guy at Starbucks yesterday, straight up spitting image of Justin in like 10 years. He had the hat, he had the button-up little shirts that he wear. It was uncanny. I swear to God, it was the weirdest thing.
Look like a Peaky Blinders extra.
Only worse.
I love you, son.
Yeah. The Twitter child that was promised.
Go check out Top Shelf Fandom. especially if you like assholes.
You know what? He's not here, so that's his own fault. We're talking shit. He's not here to defend himself.
It's like what's that thing? It's like the when you hear your name 3 times and sometimes people show up. So we've talked about him for long enough.
Beetlejuice.
Never mind.
Hey, that's okay. Yeah, it's Vitschek. Okay, that's
Vitzerk.
Vitschek. That's how it is.
Vitzerk.
They get mad about this one. Sorry, Justin.
I'm sorry.
Vitschek. I even
We
looked it
love
up on the
you.
Nordic website.
We love you,
It tells you how to
Justin.
pronounce Nordic words.
Make sure and promote my Faye Fire video on your channel, okay? Thanks.
Maybe.
Oh,
We'll
jeez.
petition for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's okay. Maybe the whole world pronounces it wrong, and Justin's the only one that gets it right. Okay, have you ever thought about that?
The show is wrong in pronouncing the name then because they all say it as Vitzerk.
You know what? I honestly appreciate the way that Johnny says Vitzer better with his southern accent. So
Vitzer.
when he gets extra southern about it when he's carrying on.
Fucking A. Yep.
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 Yeah, boy.
My face red. I don't have any
Little
color
bit.
anyway. Right? Okay.
But we got we kind of talked about it, but the whole Prince thing, where at the end, because we have the Prince storyline tied in with Lady Isabella as well because of her brother being the Marquess of Blaine, and pretty much she takes Anne Pettifer's baby and brings it to Anne Pettifer, which was nice of her to do.
Sounds
that.
like a movie that was out in the 80s. Anne Pettifer's Baby. Coming out. this fall.
Written by
Baby Henry.
who wrote
Isn't that his name, Henry?
Yeah.
The sequel to Fried Green Tomatoes. Anne Pettifer's Baby.
I was thinking more like a Jane Austen novel.
I don't know, you know.
Almost, yeah.
But she brings her baby back, and because there's that whole thing with Anne Pettifer about how she's been a ruined woman because she had a baby and everything, and eventually, like, the prince shows that he has some balls, and he's just like, don't mess with any of these women up here, or you get shanked, or basically is what he says, and inevitably he does.
Sasuke. Sorry.
But then there's that whole thing of don't come after these women and all this stuff. So it's like he's showing that he can be like a good person, even though he's just a weirdo who wears too much makeup for a prince.
You know, he doesn't. He's a millennial, you know, so that's what happens. You just don't really know what to do in the world, so you just follow the cunny. You just follow the cunny. It tells you what to do. At least she was a good person. If she was a bad person, he'd be an evil motherfucker. Because he's just, even she said it, how influenceable he is. That's not even the word or a word, I don't think. But you know what I'm trying to say here. Maybe there's been some wizards and some pipe weed in the past, so I can't, like, don't blame me here, okay? Some people do call me Pippin, okay? It might be legally on my birth certificate. Who knows? What was I saying?
The prince.
The Prince. And all the makeup.
Oh, yeah. So the prince, maybe he'll be a good dude if the Venus flytrap, you know, stays right. But, you know, maybe she'll move
I
on
think
to
they
the
got him
king.
started off on the right foot.
Yeah, you know,
She's a good chick. Good girl.
He's a smart thinker too. Like, keep the women happy, and then he's like, keep 3 women happy, including one who's banging me, or deal with this one guy who's an asshole that they're all telling me he's an asshole. Plus, he's like 4th in line to be prince. Just like accept your lot, take the women.
Yeah.
I think he's
Well,
smart.
he's got Kate. He seems pretty enamored with her.
Yeah.
So
She's playing both sides. She's got the
Hello,
justice.
governor.
She's got the justice and she got the prince right now. So it's like, girls.
Yeah.
She's moving up the ladder fast.
Yeah, did anybody need to think he should have been voted out of office? What's up with us politics? You're not the governor anymore. You know, come on.
Yeah, when
You
you've
gotta
got a
vote-
prince that
vote
gave
him.
you the job, the prince can take it away.
Wah, wah. I'm just kidding. Please.
I like how he fired him, and isn't it like his own? Isn't it Blaine's house that he's like living at?
I
this
think so.
happened?
Yeah, it's on his property for sure.
Oh, was it not, Mackenzie?
I think it was, I don't know, because it was like that was the house that he was given. Because I can't remember the exact, if they mentioned it, but I know Lydia was like, this is to Kate, like this is where you're gonna live. So I don't know if it was on their property or if it's just part of one of the houses that is part of like the royal family or something.
Okay.
It's,
It looked an awful lot like Blaine's house.
but I mean there's no use for it anymore because he's dead, so it don't matter.
Yeah, so anyone can move on in if they want.
Exactly.
Lady Isabella is going to be a rich, rich woman.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and
Hey, new movie. Lady Isabella gets her groove back.
There we go.
And then the daughter, who's her footman husband, is like selling her off to like Isaac Pincher, or trying to anyway. And it's like,
Yeah,
what the hell, man? It's like
that poor girl, Sophia. Yeah.
Yeah, you have no respect for.
How dare you try to care for me, mother? How dare you?
Didn't we all feel like that at that age?
Yeah. I mean, you know, her uncle was such a great dude.
Uncle
That's what I
Dad.
thought.
Her funkle.
Uncle Dad.
Her funkle.
Ooh, that's the craziest
Her
uncle.
Jamie.
Her Jamie Lane.
I see.
Jamie
That's
and
an
Thursday.
insult to Jamie. You know, at least he
It
didn't
is.
actually
Okay,
kill the kid.
That's true. That's true.
Well, neither did. Well, he killed a bunch of kids though. Dufant of the Douchey Boosh. What's it called? I always deliberately not remember his name because I hate him.
Who,
so
the
much.
Marquess of Blaine?
The Marquess of Blaine, the Dufant, the Douchey Douche. Yeah,
Mark
that's
Martin.
him. That's him. He has I don't know how he has such beautiful hair, but we got to get that. I think he invented Head and Shoulders. That's probably what happened.
That's how he's extra rich.
You're gonna have to move it on. I'll talk nonsense and just keep talking.
It's related. Sasuke mentioned.
A little bit, just in case we need to wait on.
Didn't Scotty Too Hottie sneak onto the Prince's property to find Kate? I think so. Because in the beginning of episode 7, she was like in bed with him, and then she obviously goes and does her thing with the prince. So then I think he comes back and is like, "Hey-o," it's like, "Remember me?" kind of thing.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, he finds her after the prince pisses her off.
mhm. But I mean, it's like, who do you pick in that situation? It's like the prince or the justice. It's like, for her, she's like kind of in both sides, but it's like, who do you pick in the end?
Well,
Yeah.
it's a life of being his maid, you know, and having some love, or being able to influence a prince and live the lavish lifestyle. It's not much of a choice. It hurts. It hurts, but I don't think she was really in love with him. I think she had like a infatuation with him, but he definitely fell in love with her because she didn't seem to struggle with it too much.
Well, and she knows the deal with the prince likely isn't going to last for forever. So she's got to make her mark where she can. And then when she and the prince part ways, she's free to do what she wants and is likely going to be a rich woman.
Mm-hmm. Just hopefully she doesn't have his bastard child.
Yeah, she'll just become richer in that case.
Or dead. Who knows?
Nah, the prince wouldn't kill her.
Nah, he wouldn't. He'd be like, "Hey, kill her for me, servants."
No.
No,
he wouldn't.
I'm offending Kaci here. You love the prince, don't you?
He turned out to be a decent guy.
Well, he might be a decent guy, but He needs to practice some skills in the bedroom.
Well, that's what Kate's there for. Kate's
What?
gonna guide him. He'll make a princess very happy one day.
She's just trying to make him finish quick. She don't want to be there. I don't know. She could probably make herself fall in love with him or something. Like she gets to mold a man to be what she wants it to be.
Mm-hmm.
If that's
Well,
ever
Well, she
possible.
seems pretty practical about it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Am I saying things that are awful here?
No.
I'm just asking because
No.
I don't know. I don't even know what I'm saying. You know, so that's okay.
Do you care if you say awful things?
Kate's got to get one of those reusable condoms like Quigley.
Yeah.
I
It
mean,
probably wouldn't hurt. One of those
aren't they
scans
all reusable nowadays as well?
back in those days.
No, now.
Well, I mean, well, not now. That
What?
was the joke. But I've only used one condom my whole life, over and over and over again.
Oh,
They
no.
even got the little red ribbons on them that you can make sure it's tight around the base. What am I talking about here? But it is disgusting. It's the worst. I mean, it's one of the most disgusting things on the show, but it does add a bit of humor. And you realize how ridiculous people were that, yeah, I don't want to get pregnant, but get someone pregnant. But, you know, it's not gross to reuse condoms, right? Like, no.
Yeah.
I know someone was around
It's
back
what
then.
they
They're
had.
like, fuck this. I got to make a disposable condom company. And then Trojan
Well,
starts
they
up
also
in
thought
season
that just
4.
washing yourself out in a bowl of water afterwards was good enough. And
Have any of y'all seen Boardwalk Empire? See how they do the Lysol
No.
to try to make an abortion?
Oh, yeah.
what?
Yeah, like a Lysol.
I haven't seen Boardwalk
I
Empire.
don't even want to say. That's a really good show, though.
Yeah,
Ha! She's alive.
she's back. She missed the riveting condom conversation.
Yeah, you did.
Riveting condoms.
Yeah, I was like, aren't condoms
Sold
all
only
reusable?
Sold
Are they
only
still
on Greek
reusable?
Street.
I didn't know
By
they made disposable
By
condoms.
Cherry?
Crazy. Yeah, by Cherry slinging them. Yeah. They even offer cherry flavored.
Told them I've been using the same condom my whole life.
That's hot.
So now that you're caught up, how do you feel about reusable condoms?
Good for the environment.
My weird dreams are starting to make sense now.
They're good for the environment. That should be the new
Mhm.
way.
I think we just came up with an entire business plan.
Well, you know, everybody wants to be eco-friendly now. So,
Yeah, just
They
dip it
make
in
those-
scrubbing bubbles.
They're starting to develop those little water bottle they're like water pods, right? Where you just pop it in your mouth and you bite it and the outer part just like dissolves away so that there's not doing water bottles and all of that anymore.
so
Uh-oh.
Anyways,
Robot Erin.
she was fine. It was cut out the entire time.
Well,
Uh-oh.
the robot overlords have had their say. Oh, and
There you
see,
go.
once I talk, they come back. The robot overlords are like, "We'll let her go. You just shut the fuck up."
Shadow Lords. They're present.
saying
They're watching
about-
us.
What were you saying about the popping disposable water bottles in your mouth?
Well, they now make those of condoms. That's not a good. I don't
What,
know.
they dissolve when you put
You
them
don't want
on?
it to dissolve, Erin.
Maybe it's like somehow activated by the semen, so it does the dissolving process doesn't start until after. I don't know.
But you definitely don't want it to dissolve then,
I'm a
though.
scientist, all right? I'm just good at business plans.
Okay. We'll have to get a chemist on this one.
I know a guy.
We'll get back to you on that next time on the Harlots Be Weird Talk.
Or the
His
ladies.
name is Jesse Pinkman.
Oh my God. What the hell's happening? What's up, Reese? Reese up in the Chizat. The weird beard guy. I have to grow a beard or people think I'm a woman. So that's kind of what I got to do, especially when I'm on this show. Talks about this show. I got to kind of really distinguish the fact that I don't want to. I feel like I'm digging a hole for the future for myself. I just got to chill out.
5 minutes. So it's fine. Sasuke doesn't want the dissolvable condoms. They're supposed to be used in an acidic environment as it is.
You're right. Don't listen to
All
me.
right.
Okay,
Stop
guys?
talking about acids and bases and condoms. This is getting. I'm trying to get weirded out.
Anyway, okay.
Anyways, reusable condoms made with pure beaver pelts.
What?
I don't know, I'm just-
Exactly.
The beaver, I think, is the national animal of Canada, I think.
That's
If I
right,
remember.
and they're a nuisance animal. Kill them all. And let the beaver god sort them out.
The beavers.
The beaver gods of the Pacific Northwest.
The beaver gods. Oh my gosh. Anyway, I think the last kind of big, we kind of talked about the hair. So the last big thing is that I guess Nancy and Lady Isabella are like together, but not together at the same time. They're like closer than buddy, but not like, I don't know. And that kind of whole thing, because like they've kind of leaned on each other through everything, and it's kind of cute to watch. Because the final scene that we see of them is that they're together, so they're sitting in the same room together, just chilling out. So it's like, what do you feel about that friendship that's blossomed into potentially a partnership?
What?
I think they're
What
kind of
question?
sweet.
Isabella and Nancy.
Nancy.
Oh, yeah, I think they're totally sweet.
Well, and they helped each other a lot. Like, without Nancy's pluck and encouragement, Lady Isabella probably wouldn't have gone through with half of her plans with Sophia and the baby and her brother and the prince. Like, I think Nancy kind of gave her that courage to, stand up for herself and not just hope that her problems are going to go away.
Nancy's such a good, she's just got like such a good soul, she's just like a good shoulder to cry on, she'll get you through the hard times. She's just like a really good, like, best friend to have. But I think, her thing with Isabella is obviously a little more than that, but Isabella, she just likes the ladies, let's be honest, and she likes it a little rough, so that's what she likes.
Wow.
But
That weird brother forced himself upon you. I wouldn't like men for the rest of my life. Oh God.
Yeah,
That
you can't
guy.
blame her.
Man. He couldn't win a beauty contest, I'll tell you that. Unless it was just looking at the back of his head.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Somebody save me.
He's got, some great hair. I don't think it's really his, but that's a great wig.
If it is his, they need to make a wig out of it for those ladies.
Yeah,
If it isn't, why is he wearing 2 wigs? When he's got the puff wig on.
Yeah.
Well, he had I guess it was his own hair when he went to see Quigley in the last scene where he uses his scarf to tie up his hair before he almost rapes Lucy.
Yeah.
I don't know. Unless that's a wig, because it was shorter, so I don't know. It's just weird.
It's short up here and then a lot longer in the back.
Mm-hmm. Like a mullet.
Maybe it's for the first. Well, who knows?
A mullet
Yeah.
that needs some very serious work. It's been let grow out for too long in the front.
Sasuke has a good point. She says it's his real hair color. And that's true because, I mean, I'm sure we all here have watched The Witcher, but his hair is like the exact same in The Witcher. It's just shorter. It's like the exact same color and kind of that same like wavy curly kind of. So I wonder if it is his real hair. Maybe.
Oh. It's a nice head of hair.
I know. I wish. Wish I had that.
Yeah, they're funny. Yeah,
Well, I can't say anything about hair really. So yeah, it's nice. Kind of jealous.
You got a nice beard though.
there you go.
Nice
Thanks.
beard.
Thanks. Yeah. Don't make me feel weird. Don't give me compliments. How dare you?
I think with
Be watching.
Nancy and with
Oh,
Nancy
sorry.
and Lady Isabella's relationship, I feel like they never like defined what their relationship is. But if we were to get a season 4, which who knows if they are at this point, that would be a very, I'm going to say the word, interesting relationship to see blossom, because of the fact that they both lost the Wells woman that they cared about so much. Like, Nancy lost Margaret and Lady Isabel as Charlotte. So they bond over that, like, loss of a mother-daughter thing. But then they also have, like, each other at the same aspects. And too, that if anything happened, like, Nancy just whack anybody who was to come near Lady Isabella, who's like a bad person.
Yeah. They almost
like she did to her brother.
Yeah. They like balance each other really well, because Nancy kind of brings out, with Charlotte, Isabella kind of, she was starting to come out of her shell. There was a lot of scandal going on with that. But with Nancy, she's already kind of gone through that a little bit. And Nancy sort of, kind of gives her a little bit more inner strength. And then on the flip side, you also kind of see like her give almost like a little bit more softness to Nancy too. Even though Nancy, I mean, she's rough around the edges, of course, but I don't know. It's just kind of like she gives her like a gentleness almost. It's nice. Like in that last scene of them together where they like sitting at the table or whatever, very like she's the lady and that's her man kind of. I don't know. It's just super cute. I liked it.
Yeah.
They're gonna live happily ever after.
Mm-hmm.
Isabella found.
I like them together, and whatever relationship they have, I think they make a great pair.
Yeah. And she's a little more loyal too. Like with Charlotte, even though they kind of had their romantic aspect, she could never get very serious with Charlotte because Charlotte was also banging Isaac on the side and like being a bod at her house. So I don't know. There's that too.
What were you saying, Danny?
What was I saying? I don't remember. Oh, Nancy's the Frog Prince. That's what I was saying. They kissed, and then she wasn't a frog anymore. Y'all didn't notice that?
Yeah,
Turned
that's
into a princess.
Cute. Yeah.
I say stuff that's pretty cool sometimes.
Yeah. No, you do. And with this relationship as well, it also seems like Nancy doesn't have to do any more work, especially if Lady Isabella gets all that money. So it's like, hey, I win. It's like I don't have to do any more work, which is nice. Oh, and Sasuke said that there is Isabella and Nancy fanfic on the website Archive of Our Own.
Ooh.
AO3 is what it is.
Well, Mackenzie, I know you're going to check that out, so let me know. Send me some of that
There's
juicy.
there's probably a lot. That website, though.
When I say juicy. No.
That website, though, it has a lot of fanfic on it. it has like a lot of Game of Thrones fanfic on there. I know that.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, I felt bad for Lady Isabella, but also with like the whole thing with her daughter, because her daughter was a stupid person and decided, oh, let me just run away with this person I barely know to get married, and then it's like kind of serves you right for running away from your mom. Like your mom was on trying to protect you. So, but overall, I think that all of these women in this show, and some of the men, like Mr. North, and some of the higher people in this show, did this show like very well. Like their roles, they were. I don't think anybody else could have played the roles that they did for that weren't like high star power that we would all know. And it's weird because I don't see anybody else playing like specifically like the role of Nancy besides her, the actress who plays Nancy. So, yeah, like
she's perfect for it. She's perfectly cast because she's a rough looking lady. Like when Margaret said to her, "Come to America, you could be a frontierswoman." Yup. Yeah. Like Nancy is perfect cast as
Nancy is Davy Crockett. Nobody knows this.
She's like a frontierswoman, like some kind of just savage ass lady. I don't know. She'd be good at that for any of those kind of roles.
Yeah.
There's something pirate. Appealing about Nancy. I don't know what it is.
Oh, I want to see Nancy as a pirate.
She'd be a badass.
That'd be good.
Jackie Sparrow.
Jackie Sparrow.
Put that on the archive of our own.
Yeah.
Pirate Nancy. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Plus, all the beaver glands stink really bad. So as a frontierswoman, when she's getting beaver pelts, you're right, Sasaki, she would stink.
Yeah, she does have the eyeliner also to be like Jackie Sparrow. Let's see. I think, it's weird now that like after the 2-ish episodes that we said goodbye to Margaret Wells, the show, it's different, but it kind of has its own story now. Like these last 2 episodes, it got its own story without Charlotte and Margaret's characters Margaret being the topic of a lot of the conversations. Like it became its own story for like the last 2 episodes, which I really enjoyed. I don't think we really missed anything. I know we like loosely talked about everything because basically the end of this show wraps up really nicely. It's like if it is the last season of this show. I think the Hal's just needed to just go and die. He's probably going to die in the Navy anyway, or whatever the Navy. It's like
He'll die as a seaman. The perfect death for him.
It would be cool to see him come back as a villain next season. He would be like the only fitting follow-up villain that we have right now. So there's that. But I do think they wrapped it up really well to where they could come back, but they, if they don't, then all of our questions are pretty much answered. Mm-hmm. Besides whatever happened to Mrs. Scanwell, but
Scanwell, Justice Hunt.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the 2. Mm-hmm. Or 3.
I know what happened to Justice Hunt. He's
coming.
He's going to be on Cursed.
But I kind of did mini research on where some of these actors are right now, and it's quite interesting to see where these characters end up, or these actors, not characters. What am I saying? Like how I know no one wants to watch The Walking Dead anymore. I haven't watched it, but it's like people do, and it's on Twitter. But apparently, good old Margaret Wells is playing the the villain of in The Walking Dead named Alpha. So she's doing that, and I believe that actually the actress who we all know as Fanny, not Johnny, is playing in Outlander, also with the name Fanny, which is quite hilarious.
That's cute.
That's pretty evil on the casting people's part. What the hell was? Oh yeah, so we know what happened to Margaret Wells when she went to America. The apocalypse happened. Roanoke, West Virginia. This is where it starts. Little known fact: it was a zombie apocalypse. Remember? And then there were vampires, and then Abraham Lincoln made that movie about having to kill all the vampires. Abraham Lincoln, Vampire Hunter. Y'all remember that bullshit? See,
Yeah.
but that's what really happened. The truth, they don't want you to discover it. You know.
All tied into Harlots.
Yeah, that's
It is
the cost of this weird venereal disease that come from England over to America. And
Is that what happens?
everyone.
Everyone turns into vampires and zombies?
Basically, it's just
From
a
an
good life.
that could be an interesting story. An STD that causes vampirism.
Yeah.
Or zombie, whatever.
Only man whores and skanks to get it, you know. I'm just joking.
And then they infect everybody else.
No.
Wow.
Sorry, what am I saying here? Y'all go ahead. I give this show a 70 Flavin. I loved it so much.
A Nevendy Flavin? Is that a positive Nevendy Flavin or a negative Nevendy Flavin?
It's a triple negative and a double positive. I don't know. I feel really stupid now, so I'm gonna run away. Just gonna go count my blessings.
Go and be with baby kitty. Go take care of baby kitty because you're out now. Anyway, this show was a great show for us to explore and bring light to this TV show. I know like no one has really watched this show. All thanks to Erin when she brought it up, because I know you were marathoning it before we started talking about it. And yeah, I really enjoyed it. Like this show, if it is over, which it very well might be, it was a good story, and it had its ups and its downs, of course, and we lost some people, but I feel like it was good. And why not make more seasons, even though it's like you can just kind of make it more of like an ensemble where you split off into different characters. But anyway, before I go on a diatribe and a tangent, I would rate. Okay, here we go. Because we're not going to rate the episode, because I feel like this series gets like a 8.5, 9, because it's so good and it's so underrated for what it is. And yeah, what do you guys think about that? And then we'll do like the where to find us and all that stuff in a minute. Like overall thoughts of the show and talking about it and stuff.
Well, I would give these last 2 episodes, honestly, I think that there was a lot more momentum coming onto like probably episodes 5 and 6 with the Pinchers and with Margaret and everything. So I feel like it kind of ramped down a little bit for these last couple episodes. They were still really good, but I don't feel like there was as much energy and momentum behind them, because we were so emotionally invested in like Charlotte and that kind of thing. It really, from the beginning of season 3 to the end of season 3, took you for a crazy loop. So I think that I think I won't give the last 2 episodes as high of a rating as like 5 and 6. I'd still give them like a 7 or 8. I didn't think of any clever things, so I'll come back to that. But overall, the show is just so good. It's so well written. There's so many twists and turns. There's a lot of great characters, and they all kind of have their own things going on. So, I mean, overall, the show, I think, yeah, it's like an 8.5 and 9. I would give it a 9, honestly. It's really well written. And I just love the girls. I love the costumes. I like the music. I like the sets. You can just really get lost in their world, and it's a lot of fun. And it's just so well written. It's clever and surprising, and it's not over the top with, even though it's about sex and it's about prostitutes and brothels and all of that, it's not like, it doesn't give you those uncomfortable sex scenes like you get with like Game of Thrones and that kind of thing, where you're almost like, okay, let's get this over with. Like, I mean, there's sex scenes in Game of Thrones that I skip through because I'm just like, this is too awkward, even though there's like relevant information. I think, what do you call that?
How dare you fast forward a dick or a titty? How dare you?
Exposition.
Yeah, exposition. Like, there's, especially with like Littlefinger and stuff, there's those scenes where it's just like too uncomfortable to sit through, even though there's really relevant information that you want to watch. It's just too off-putting with like the hardcore sex they got going on. It like makes it really uncomfortable.
The girl who doesn't even rinse her mouth out before she kisses the next dude.
Yeah.
That is the worst.
Exactly.
Scene ever. What's the point?
Exactly. There's a lot of stuff like that. So it's nice that with Harlots, they didn't do that. They really didn't give you, I can't think of one, I mean, other than like the scenes with like Kate and the prince, those are a little bit awkward with the sex scene, but honestly, the one she sticks her finger up his butt, so that really like takes the edge off of that. And then the other one, like the Marquess comes in and makes it really super awkward. So like, but that's supposed to be, that's an intentional awkward situation. So like, really, I can't think of one sex scene in the show that is like over the top, make you uncomfortable, like want to skip through it kind of thing. So anyways, that's my soapbox of sex position. But, my sex position soapbox. Okay, so I give the show overall a 9 sex position soapbox. All right, the end.
I think I give these 2 episodes probably an 8.5, 9. Just because they tied up everything really well. That they don't have to drag it on for another season if they don't come up with a really solid storyline. Like, we kind of got, and all of our characters are kind of on the same page now. Like, Emily's got her thing going on. Lucy's good. Lydia's doing fine now. The house on Greek Street's doing good. Lady Isabella, her life is finally chilled out. Same with Nancy. So, they've did a good job with having our remaining characters that haven't left the show or died just be able to kind of breathe for a minute, unless they throw them for another loop in a season 4. But overall, I think I'd give the series a 8.5 pimpin' cherries. I agree with a lot of what Erin said. It was really good with all the plots and everything. There were a few plot lines that kind of lost me a little bit, but they still managed to bring them back around and make them relevant and make them matter. So it was really well done. It was a really fun show.
Johnny. Or Fanny, sorry.
Yeah, okay. Fanny's got it going. I want to say this before I lose it. I'll give the series 9 reusable rubber reservoirs. And I think that's pretty solid. It's a really great show. I don't know. It's really good. I don't know what I got to say. I came out on top, all right? I would have preferred if Lucy would have died instead of Charlotte because, I don't know, Lucy annoys me. This is a show, okay? I'm not advocating real people die, but, I think Lucy would have looked a lot better on the floor with her head smashed in. I think that's kind of where she deserves to be. But, that's just me. The good daughter died. Fuck. Oh, I'm still grieving, okay? And I like to make jokes while I grieve. And Lydia Quigley, the fact that, she didn't choke on a fishbone as well, like 2 episodes later. I mean, I wish she would have choked on the fishbone. She'd be like, here, I'll eat that fishbone too. Let me show you how awesome I am. And then she just kind of chose to death. Or, I don't know, maybe she gets stabbed a couple times while stabbing the Doochie Doo font of Douchey, whatever his name is. And I don't know what I think. I think it's a really good show. I do like how Margaret did end up getting to have some semblance of a regular life. She's going to retire. People die before they turn 40 during this time. So she's hit retirement age. She's got like 2 years and then she's gone. She's going to die of like, she's going to stump her toe. It'll get infected and she'll die. That's just kind of what happens here. Maybe they'll cut off the toe in time. Who knows? But Margaret Wells, her little pinky toe gets stumped. She dies from an infection. But she gets to live at least 2 years chopping down cherry trees and teaching little George Washington how to be a good president.
Well, so she's, was in the zombie apocalypse.
It's like America's... you're muted while you're trying to cut me down, Erin. I see you trying to cut me down. I can see the tone of your lip movement.
Does she have a stump now, Margaret?
Well, no. She accidentally sniffed the wrong flower and she's dead. Just whatever happens. A bee stung her. Margaret's out looking for honey and she just tackles a beehive, but it's really a hornet's nest. And she just gets it stuck on her head like a cartoon. She runs around, runs into a tree. I don't know. I'll shut the hell up. Casey's like, okay, can we go home now? All right, but thank you for having me on. This is awesome. I hope Ladies Night is without me, actually, because I don't want to be even more of an honorary lady. I just kind of got to draw a line somewhere.
You're our sugar piggy.
Oh, no. Well, yeah, well, you can make special appearances. They don't have to be Ladies Night editions. You're always on episode anyway, so it'll be fine. Yeah,
then somehow I started becoming an honorary Golden Girl. I knew it.
You're our best girl.
But now it's the question of who is Johnny in the Golden Girl?
He's our Sophia for sure. It's true.
I'm okay. Yep.
He'll make me send you back to the home.
Johnny doesn't like no. Yeah, we have. I think with this show, it was really well done, and I'm happy that it's out there in the world, and I hope that we got some more people to watch this show because it's good, and that's how we got Fanny on the panel today. So the honorary lady, even though he calls himself that. Anyway, yes. So we were probably going to most likely.
Sorry.
So,
okay, thanks.
Actually, I'm definitely B. Arthur.
That's probably true. Let's be honest. I'm Sophia.
What?
You're gonna send me to the home.
You're already in Bedlam, so it's like you're halfway there. Yes. So, like Johnny said, we're trying to hopefully do another version of Ladies' Night edition. So I'm trying to think of
not like I said, okay? Stop pulling me in on this. I see what you're doing.
and doing some other shows. So let us know what you want us to cover. We can do it. Although Outlander's out right now, have not seen it yet, so we can do something like that. Just a more, not to be like sexist or anything against my own gender, but like, more girly shows like this one, female empowerment. I don't know, some type of TV show like that will bring light to those TV shows. So yeah, we'll scour the internet and we'll do a poll or something like that. But does anybody want to shout out anything that they want to before I just ramble on into existence with what we're doing next?
Anybody in the chat's listening that gives a shit about my Ragnarok videos, the next one will be coming out this week. I got sick last week, but it'll be 2 episodes at a time for the last 4 episodes. It's going to be good. I'll split them up. It'll still be the same type of breakdown. It's just going to all be in one video because they take a long time to make. So, but I've got some good ones laid out for the next one. Good gap. That's how you're supposed to say it. And then whatever, I'm just kidding. But no, it's gonna be good. And Westworld videos will be coming out. It'll probably be theory videos every week as opposed to a breakdown. But there will be like a review of the episode in the theory video. So don't worry about that. And I'll just predict the whole show for you because I'm really good at that. Probably not.
Also, you got
I'll try.
You got insider secrets because you're Jesse. Whatever his name is, Aaron Paul. There you go.
Oh yeah, I'm Aaron Paul if he was good looking. And I don't have a light bulb head like Aaron Paul though. If you look, he's got kind of a light bulb head.
Yeah,
from all the blue meth.
It's goofy looking. He looks like he does blue meth.
He probably does. What show do you love now? House of the Conqueror? Is that me?
I think Ragnarok.
What did I say? What show did I talk about?
Ragnarok.
Oh yeah, Ragnarok's so good. It's so fucking good. It's so good. Anybody that I've got to actually watch it likes it. That's all I got to say about that. And I had about 14 Dr. Peppers and I got to pee. All right. Oh, Jenny's calling too. Okay. That one didn't hit.
Erin, Kaci, is there anything you want to tell the people about if they don't know already? Or if they do, just remind them.
Kaci, you go ahead because I think I'm going through a laggy moment.
Oh, okay. I'm just going to keep trying to get my Sabrina videos done. And then hopefully maybe try to get it on some Westworld. We'll see how that goes. Maybe not. What are you doing, Johnny?
I was looking at myself in the camera and clicking the pen. I'm sorry. See, I'm an asshole.
You're fine.
Being a boy over there.
No, but thank you, Mackenzie, for having me on. This has been a lot of fun.
So I have been, I put a new video this week, not on Braavosi broadcast, but on my new channel, Fire. So I don't know if it's a link to that. Hold on. I'll put that. I'll drop that link.
I got you. Just keep going.
Oh, thanks, son. So it's on Who is Nimue Part 1. I'm working on Part 2 right now. I'm like halfway done editing. Actually, no, I'm like a quarter of the way done editing, but it's recorded and all of that stuff. And I already have that's going to be Part 2 of Nimue, and then I'm going to be doing another video right after that about the Weeping Monk. So definitely check that stuff out. I've got a bunch of ideas for my Fire channel, trying to get some cursed content out there because there's not any out there. So if you're interested in Curse or King Arthur or the Lady of the Lake and all of that good stuff, check that channel out and I will be getting you more stuff. But yeah, and also I think I'm going to do a video on like what's up with Cursed, because we've got like a bunch of cast people, like I was telling you guys. Justice Hunt, is it, from season 2 of Harlots? He's casted to play in Cursed, but so they've listed like a bunch of actors. They just don't say what roles they're for. So I kind of have my suspicions. I think I'm going to kind of do just like a fun video that's like, this is who I think is cast for this and this and this, because I have my suspicions on who he might be. So yeah, that's what's up with me. So
Woohoo! We got, so Johnny's now doing the linkage in the chat.
Sorry, I'm looking up nude photos of B. Arthur. Give me just a second.
But thank you, Johnny, for that. So for this, we're gonna be doing Westworld. So we're probably gonna do a season 1 kind of more like questions from season 1 type of thing. It's really hard to recap season 1 because of the multiple timelines. Westworld in itself is going to be interesting to recap because of the multiple timelines, but we're going to try. So for season 1, it's going to be like a season 1 review, season 2, same thing. And then every Wednesday, starting the week of the 15th, we'll be doing episodic breakdowns. So episode club's going to do a little bit of both coming up. And it's going to be really, really fun. And if you watch Westworld and you want to come and chat with us about it, just let me know, and we'll most definitely do that. Other than that, go check out Facebook. That's where most definitely you're going to find out more of the information about. Like,
if you want to band together and kill your human overlords, join this channel.
Exactly. If you want. And where all the information about streams and if what shows we're going to be doing, just go over there. And as well with Patreon, like the patrons who support the channel get extra content. I'm working on extra content for them too, and eventually coming back to not just doing live streams but doing other stuff as well. So we're going to do so much of that. Shout out to the patrons. They know who they are. They're just awesome. And I thought Johnny was wanted to say something for a second. So I looked out of the
No, I was just scratching my nose. I wasn't raising my hand, but I can get the sentiment.
But yes, go check out Facebook. It's always linked in the description. And we'll post all that stuff there. Anyway, Harlots was great. Having everyone on this panel join me was awesome. My own Harlots. We had our gin. We didn't drink any gin. That'll be.
I'm your best earner.
Yeah, we did.
Mackenzie's our bod.
Yeah. We're all working the roles now. But yeah, we'll come back to a new show. I think Sasuke mentioned Dairy Girl, so I'll go check that out. We'll put like a poll or something, and I'll let you guys know about that. So I think we're pretty much done here. Thank you everybody for joining us today on Sunday. Basically a very impromptu stream, but we will see you guys maybe on Wednesday for some Westworld. All right. Bye everybody.
Bye.
Bye.